Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jay Kohn. Janelle is off tonight. A woman and her 2 kids rescued from their burning home this morning thanks to the heroism of a Billings policeman. When first responders arrived on the scene of this fire, smoke was pouring out of a home, but a woman and her 2 children still inside. Thanks to some quick thinking, though, and bravery on the part of a Billings police lieutenant, the family able to escape. Police Sergeant Scott Conrad was only a few blocks away from the Heights home on Rhea Lane when the call came in around 7:40 this morning. Conrad immediately drove to the home, and when he arrived said he could hear yelling coming from the rear of the home. When he kicked in the front door, it was a woman carrying an infant who immediately ran out of the house. Conrad quickly noticed there was a 2-year-old by the bathroom. He yelled to the child, but said he got no response. That's when he rushed into the burning house and grabbed the young child. Fortunately, we can tell you that everyone made it out unharmed. The Billings Fire Department says that fire was due to combustibles that were left on the stove in the house. The woman told police once the fire started, she couldn't get out of the front door, so she took her kids into the bathroom, opened a window for fresh air, but said the window was too small for them to escape through. Billings Fire Department says that fire this morning caused about $200,000 in damage. Search and rescue crews tonight scouring the Tongue River near Boerne for a drowning victim. The Rosebud County Sheriff's Office says it received the first report of the incident around 4 p.m. Wednesday. And tonight the search is still on after a 43-year-old man apparently slipped off a ledge but never resurfaced. Tonight, Rosebud County Sheriff Alan Fulton tells Q2 that all sorts of teams are helping out. A local rancher has offered up a plane to help search from the air. A boat with sonar has been deployed to help, plus a diver has been sent there to check out areas of interest. This is a developing story. We invite you to check for updates at ktvq.com as soon as they are available. Yellowstone County Sheriff Mike Linder is asking for the public's help to provide clues into the death of a woman whose body was discovered some 4 months ago in Two Moon Park. It was in late April that the body of Harriet Wilson was found in the Yellowstone River at Two Moon Park. Linder says Wilson had been dead for a short time, but had suffered injuries prior to her death. The investigation determined Wilson had been in downtown Billings in the days just before her death. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Yellowstone County Sheriff's Office. On to the weather scene tonight, Bob. It's a steamy weather scene. These high temperatures can be really way more serious than just a sunburn.
Oh, yeah. It's going to cook up tomorrow and again on Saturday. Let me show you. Here you go, up to 103 degrees by the time Saturday gets here. And it's still going to be warm on Sunday, 98 degrees. So that got us thinking, well, there are some symptoms of heat-related illnesses, and we thought we'd share them with you. If you have heat exhaustion, well, this isn't quite as bad as heat stroke, but it's still bad enough. You have faint and dizzy spells. You have excessive sweating. Your skin is kind of cool, pale, and clammy. You also have nauseous and vomiting present there. And also you have a rapid, weak pulse and, oh yeah, the worst, I think, muscle cramps when you have heat exhaustion. When you have heat stroke, you have a throbbing headache and there is no sweating at all. That's really an obvious sign there. The body temperature is about 103 degrees. Your skin is red hot and dry. Nauseous and vomiting is present as well. A rapid, strong pulse rate. And by the way, you may not even have consciousness. And if that's the case, someone needs to call 911 and get you an IV, get you some fluids if you have heat stroke. Well, how hot it's going to get coming up in just a few more minutes. Jay?
All right. Thank you, Bob. Well, south of Billings in the Pryor Mountains, fire lines have now been established around the Bent Spring fire. That fire of unknown origin grew to about 5 acres in size since it sparked on Wednesday afternoon, but it has since been held in check. Fire officials tell us today a helicopter helped out the small crew of firefighters helping out with water drops this morning. And although fire lines now encircle the Bent Spring fire, officials have yet to declare it contained. Yellowstone National Park Superintendent Dan Wink will put a wrap on his 43-year Park Service career next month. It's a few months sooner than he had hoped. Wink talked to reporters today during a 2-hour farewell telephone news conference from Yellowstone. He addressed his falling out with Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke, sparked by a disagreement over bison management. Wink said he felt it was punitive that he was being forced out early, but said the decision to retire was his. He says the bison management plan and the grizzly delisting impacts will be big issues for the park's next superintendent. Wink's replacement is Cameron Shawley, who will take over in October. And as for Superintendent Wink's biggest disappointment, well, he says it's not being able to see bison come off a truck in Fort Peck as part of the plan's relocation efforts. Another big issue is visitor management. Last year, as many as 4 million people came to see Yellowstone. Wenk says, though, in the near future, there will have to be new ways to manage the impact of all the park visitors.
I do believe that we are coming to a point in dealing with visitation in Yellowstone National Park where we have to make some decisions about how we're going to manage visitation in the future. We have visitation that exceeds many days of the summer of 35,000 people in the park a day. That is certainly stretching our capacity to handle that level of visitation. I think that if I had any advice for local communities, they have an incredible resource here that will continue to provide great economic opportunity for them, but they have to be part of the solution in terms of how we manage visitation, how we make sure that we do not cause negative impacts on the very resources that people are coming to see.
Superintendent Wenk could have taken a transfer to Washington, D.C. to finish up his career, but instead he decided to retire. He plans, he says, to move to the Black Hills of South Dakota later this fall. Vice President Mike Pence has outlined a new proposal to create the U.S. Space Force by the year 2020. If it's approved by Congress, it would become a sixth branch of the U.S. military. Angelica Alvarez is in Washington with the details.
Vice President Pence traveled to the Pentagon to unveil a plan for creating Space Force. The proposed new branch of the military would protect U.S. interests in space, including this $250 million GPS satellite, integral to the way the military fights and how Americans live.
Our adversaries have transformed space into a warfighting domain already, and the United States will not shrink from this challenge.
The Department of Defense says Russia and China have developed anti-satellite weapons. In 2007, China created this vast debris field by shooting down one of its own weather satellites.
What was once peaceful and uncontested is now crowded and adversarial.
President Trump first announced the plans in June and today tweeted, "Space Force all the way." The administration wants Space Force up and running by 2020, but it's not a done deal. Congress must approve it first. President Trump is expected to submit a proposed budget in February. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis, who had previously opposed a new branch of the military, released a 15-page report detailing how the Space Force would be structured. A 4-star flag officer would lead the Space Force, which would include an elite group of warfighters called the Space Operations Force. A civilian would serve as Assistant Secretary of Defense for Space, and the Space Development Agency would focus on new technology for the fight in space. The vice president says the Trump administration is working to build bipartisan support for the plan. Angelica Alvarez, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Opponents of the proposed Space Force say there's no need for more bureaucracy for work the Air Force is already doing. Proponents, though, argue the Air Force is not able to give space the attention and the funding it deserves. The award-winning political documentary Dark Money, filmed mostly in Montana, will hit the big screen statewide starting tomorrow night. Our chief political reporter Mike Dennison tonight tells us more about the film that examines Montana's unique role in shedding light on campaign financing.
You know, the number one rule of political or watchdog reporting is follow the money.
They send out all these mailings. They don't care if they lie.
Nobody knows who they are. They call them dark money groups, and that's exactly what they are.
Those are scenes from the trailer for Dark Money by Montana filmmaker Kimberly Reed. The 99-minute documentary has won film festival awards across the country, had its Montana premiere in February, and will be shown nationally on PBS this fall. But starting on Friday, it opens in theaters, including 4 movie houses in Montana, in Billings, Missoula, Bozeman, and here at the Myrna Loy Center in Helena. Now, campaign finance may sound like a pretty dull subject, but Montana reporter John Adams, a key figure in the film, believes Dark Money makes it compelling and relevant.
As one of the characters in the film says, campaign finance is the gateway to every single other issue you might care about. So whether it's guns or abortion or the environment, those issues are being affected every day by these huge amounts of outside spending we're seeing in these elections.
The term dark money refers to spending on ads, mailers, and other material to influence campaigns, and whose source is difficult to trace. The movie follows the efforts of Adams and other Montana reporters and political figures to expose the sources of this money. Many of the political figures in the film are Democrats, including Governor Steve Bullock and U.S. Senator Jon Tester. But filmmaker Reed and Adams say a lot of the credit for taking on dark money goes to Republicans in Montana.
One of the things that the film really shows is this sort of battle within the Republican Party. Some of these folks who stood up against the dark money and engaged in these battles on the House and Senate, they were Republicans.
Also this weekend, people who are part of the film, including Reed and Adams, will have Q&A sessions at Montana showings around the state. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
And Mike tells us that film will be playing throughout this weekend and also into next week. Still ahead on tonight's 10 o'clock news, a 10-year-old girl is spinning and twirling her way through chemotherapy in hopes of inspiring others. We'll have her story for you coming up next. And in sports tonight, is a Billings team destined for another Little League World Series trip? Scott shows us how they took a giant step forward today.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Kohn and Janelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.